All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce. It is Saturday. As we roll into this weekend, hope you're all doing well today. Another good week here in the Rock Cave. What are we talking about today? Well, we are talking about none other than Dee Snider of Twisted Sister. Dee was in the news this past week or last week when he said that he was okay with Ukrainians using his song, We're Not Gonna Take It, as a rallying call. His father was Ukrainian, by the way, if you didn't know that. Big Twisted Sister fan here in the Rock Cave. We did do a show on them, I think in season 1, and then we did another show on the PMRC, one of my favorite episodes, because that's great. So we'll talk about that in a second. Dee Snider is going to be 67 years old on March 15th. Still putting out music, still going strong. You got to respect that. Here he is, just plugging along, doing his thing, and he's still making some great music. If you're a fan of metal, you got to continue to check his stuff out, because he's been putting out some really good stuff that, unless you seek it out, you may not hear it. But he's doing some really good stuff. Again, very vocal on Twitter. If you don't know much about Twisted Sister, I said it before, you need to watch the documentary that they have out that is called We Are Twisted Effin' Sister. One of the best rockumentaries I've ever seen. And the interesting part about that is that it stops in time right when we all first were introduced to them. For most of us, unless you were in Long Island or New York, you didn't know them until MTV, right? It turns out, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it turns out they were huge, absolutely huge band. I mean, they were selling out venues that had never been sold out for local artists without national attention. They were massive, and the story is just so good. If you're just a music fan, you don't even have to love their music or know much about it. If you're just a music fan and you love a good story, check out that documentary, because it is so good. And Dee, we need to know, is there going to be a part 2? Is there going to be a part 2? Hit me up, Dee. Come on the show. Talk some. Love to have you on. Anyway, check that out. It's worth it. You've watched everything else. Watch that. Also, if you like horror movies, check out his Strangeland. Strangeland, that's a freaky movie, and great soundtrack, by the way. But if you're into horror, you need to see Strangeland. He does have a new song out. Yeah, I think he put it out this week. Stand, which is dedicated to the station fire victims in Rhode Island, February 20th, 2003, that terrible tragedy that happened, the Great White Concert. So you should check that out. Very powerful as well. So, yeah, he's still going strong, and you have to appreciate that. I saw him, I've said this story before too, I saw him on my 40th birthday in Mexico. We were in Playa del Carmen. He was in the same resort, and he was the DJ here in Connecticut on Radio 104 for a long time. Very popular show. You can still hear podcasts, by the way, of him doing stuff. But I saw him at the resort and just gave him a fist up in the air, Radio 104, and he gave me the fist back. So thanks for that, Dee. I'm sure you remember it. Anyway, Twisted Sister, right? I mean, funky name. I mean, a lot of people were wearing different outfits. I mean, Motley Crue had their thing going. They had their face paint on, everything else. Twisted Sister, a little bit different, right? And maybe it was hard to take them seriously based on their videos and the way they presented themselves. But it turns out none of that mattered, because they just put out some really good music. Really good music. So you should revisit Twisted Sister today, because there's some good stuff out there, and I got a lot of favorite songs by them that if you dig deep, you'll really appreciate it. So that's what we're doing today for Song of the Day. In case you didn't guess, we're doing Twisted Sister here in the Rock Cave, and of course we're doing We're Not Gonna Take It. I mean, that's the song, that's the whole point, right, of today's episode. So enjoy that. Play yourself some Twisted Sister today. Revisit it. Watch that documentary. Just do it all. It's Saturday. That's my recommendation, all right? So, Song of the Day. Looking forward to the rest of this week. And whatever you're doing, I hope it involves music. And as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.